Let's animate scene 4, which is the Rome scene. Here we go. We have this New York scene animated already. And this is what it looks like now. After this scene, we can bring up the Rome scene here. Let's go back to the project panel here. And then we already have the scene 3 composition within our main comp. So now I need to go inside the frame 4 and then just copy everything in frame 4, Command C, go back to the main composition, click on the top layer and then Command V, paste it in. Drag all the new layers all the way to the back around 12-second mark. So this is where we want the Rome scene to kick in. Now what we need to do is we need to move this frame 3 to the left and then introduce the frame 4. It's pretty easy. Hit P on the keyboard with frame 3 selected, and then I can just add a keyframe on position, go forward 10 frames, drag everything all the way to the left so that it's moving off the screen just like a camera pan. And here what we need to do to move frame 4 is, you know what, I think to make it easier, what I can do is I don't need to copy all these layers into our main composition. Let me just delete those. So instead, I can do the same thing with frame 3. So when I was doing frame 3, I just copy the entire layers, right? I just drag the entire layer, just delete all these. And then I drag this frame 4 entire outer composition into this main composition, and then I animated everything inside frame 4. It might make the transition easier. It's just two different ways to work, and you can choose whichever one you prefer. Sometimes you can animate the transition easier with the main composition inside the main comp, and then you can animate everything inside this frame 4 composition, if that makes sense. And since we have it here, we have a camera pan to the right, and then we need to add a position property to this frame 4, go forward 10 frames, and then move this Rome scene to the right. So the Rome scene is on the right hand side of this New York scene, and then when it moves like this. It's like a camera pan. Like that works. And then now I just need to add a keyframe velocity, change to 66. And then maybe drag the two keyframes further apart to make the transition smoother. Let me preview. Yep, that works. That looks nice. Okay. First, I need to go to frame 3 to copy out the texture layer, Command C, and then go down to frame 4, go to frame 4. This is where our Rome animation is going to be animated. The background, make it bigger. Let me just paste in the animated texture, and we can delete the original one. So this scene is similar to the one we had before. We have the bike shadow. So the bike shadow should be parent to the bike. I need to find which one is a bike. This black and white 11 is a bike, so I need to have bike here. And then I need to parent the shadow to the bike. And then we need to parent the two graphics here to the bike as well. Now, if we put position property on the bike, let's try to animate the position property of the bike. Okay, that's good. So I want the bike to come from the top right, like this. And then right click, add keyframe of velocity, change to 66. That's good. Coliseum. So I want the Coliseum to kind of grow from the center here. Let me change the anchor point with the pen behind tool to the center of the Coliseum. And then I can hit S for scale, add a keyframe, and then change the beginning to 0. So we have this animation here, right click, keyframe velocity, change to 66. Now we have the Colosseum grow like that. That's good. And then we have the shadow of the Colosseum. I want to parent the shadow to the Colosseum so that they grow together. And then this graphic here, I want to have the same treatment as the statue in the previous scene. So I need to animate manually, have a position and rotation property, go forward around 25 frames, maybe 1 second, and then move these 2 keyframes because these are the ending position and rotation for this graphic. Let's move it to the beginning. I can move it up, change the rotation, -20, move it up, and then when it comes down, I can drag it here. I can drag it to the side, and then change the rotation to a positive value, positive 15. And then when it comes down, move it to the right, -9, positive 6, -5, and then remember to put in a overshoot to have the element go over, then positive 7 maybe, and then settle back in position. Right click everything, toggle hold keyframe. Let me put down, set a preview endpoint, put N on the keyboard, and then let's preview. That's good. And then we have these 2 elements can just cut in, it doesn't matter. The last thing is the background blue shape here. That's within the background composition. So I need to bring this out, Command X, bring it outside of the background composition, and this is going to be the same as frame 3. I just need to go back to the frame 3 to copy the animation and keyframes and everything. Let me copy this, Command C. Or what I can do is I can just copy the effects from this layer and then go back to frame 4, Command V, paste it in. Move it to the front. I can change the angle of the linear wipe a little bit so that it looks better, like this. That's good. We have a Rome text here. I need to set the anchor point to the center of the text. Let's just set the anchor point over here. And then what we can do is we can go back to frame 3 to copy the animation of this New York text. There are 2 benefits when you're copy and pasting keyframes. One is that you don't have to do it again, and the other one is you can keep everything consistent. I just need to find this New York text over here and then copy the keyframes. Go back to frame 4. That's the Rome, and then make sure you have the timeline indicator as 0 second because it's gonna paste in the keyframe based on where your timeline indicator is. That's good. And now we should have all the animations here. I just need to rearrange the order a little bit. So I need the background to come in first, and then I want the Colosseum to come in right after the blue shape background. maybe around here. And then the bike comes in. The bike comes in, and then this graphic comes in. The Rome should come in the last. These two, we can drag it further down. And then this graphic, I wanted to, 1 second. I want this graphic to come in a bit later. I want Colosseum to come in first because that's the main focal point of our scene. We have the Colosseum, we have the bike, and then from the top, there's this graphic here. And when the graphic settles, we have this little graphic elements come in. Like that, which is good. Now what I need to do is to bring the wiggle effect and the posterized time effect into this scene as well. Just go back to the luggage layer, Command C, and then go back to project frame 4. Let me just copy, paste the effect onto everything, and then we can fix anything that's not looking right. So over here, you can see the posterized effect cannot be applied to the shadow. Everything that has a shadow is going to mess up with the posterized effect. So I need to delete the effect from the Colosseum. And then I need to delete the effect, I think, from the bike, but the bike seems okay. Let's preview. Yep, that's it with our Rome scene animation. It looks pretty cool. Alright, let's move on to the next video.